Dinky Doo from Manchester headquarters. How are you doing? See if we get a few watchers. Lately I've been attracting all sorts, from comedians to people across the world to people who's subscribing to people just chatting. So we can have a chat. We can have a chat today about anything really. We can talk about my chest health. We can talk about the next moves, and then we'll have a free for all if we get some comments. So I'm getting a review. What day is it? 24th. I think the review's on the 26th regarding my gentamicin. I've been on it a month now. I used the nebulized mouthpiece, but I never had success using it when I did the tobramycin. So I thought I weren't going to get much use, doing it with the gentamicin, and I found it just to take very long. Sometimes it'd do it in 10 minutes, sometimes 25, and even 30 minutes at a time, and I'd look in the chamber and there'd still be medicine. So anyway, I dug my old mask out and I put it on, and it's doing it fairly quick, and I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm clearing the chest infection and any potential nasal infections. Now, when I got the gentamicin, the prescribers didn't want to give me the mask. I knew I had one. They didn't want to give me one because they said the gentamicin is bad for the eyes if it gets in the eyes. But they said that with the tobramycin, they still give me a mask instead of a mouthpiece. So all I do when I'm, nebulizing my antibiotic, I make sure the mask is really tight on my face, not just with the what they called, not like with the lace that goes over your head on the mask. I make sure it's really compressed on my face, so I'm holding it on, and that way there's no gaps where it can, go into the eyes. So I'm going to basically tell her that tomorrow, on the 26th, that I've been using the mask instead of the mouthpiece. So I can't see her, moaning too much, as long as my hygiene's good, where I clean around my eyes after I've used the medication. The tricky part of using either gentamicin or tobramycin nebulized is having people listen to you. So you have to ventilate the area, open the windows, open the door, and then no one can go in the room for 30 minutes. But obviously, if you've got people coming in and you're doing it in the front room, you're obstructing the room. So even though we say it's a strong medicine, they've got to go to the shop or whatever it is. So that's been a bit tricky. I was thinking about nebulizing it in the bedroom at some point, bringing my nebulizer up with me, and the only reason I haven't done that is probably get lazy with it. Whereas if it's down, I'm trying to aim for not the first thing in the morning, but after I've had breakfast, maybe to, do it then, or at least have my Ventolin and saline. And then if I don't do my gentamicin, what I can do is just go about my day as it is, and then just get my inhaler, take my inhaler, and then take the gentamicin, knowing that I've done some kind of nebulized. So for anyone who doesn't know, I've been nebulizing probably for the last 12 years, and I've been nebulizing a hell of a lot, where it's constant. I had a short break where I wasn't looking after myself, where I thought, what's the point again? Which it does come. So my nebulizer started slacking, and then when I lost the tobramycin, that made me think, what's the point anyway? So I would say for a year, whilst I was waiting to see what was going on with the medication, my whole nebulized regimen went out the window. So everything was like religious. One thing I was religious with was the nebulizers. Not so much the inhalers, but the nebulizer, the Ventolin, or the saline. I did daily, at least twice, 3 times a day. Now, for anyone who is very productive with mucus like I am, what you'll find out is you can't go many days without needing one. And when you do stop taking them, you will struggle to bring any mucus up, which is weird, because you're very productive, but then you don't have the nebulizer, then you feel like you can't bring it up, and that's because these secretions are getting, logged, waterlogged in the lungs, where all the scar tissue is. and I think it's the areola or something like that. But anyway, in the bronchial tubes, it's all filling up and filling up. So basically, the lungs are getting flooded, and you're drowning in your own mucus. So, someone's normal lungs, this is a bottle. Yeah, the mucus would move freely like that. You know, when they cough, it'd come out. But with someone like us, it would just keep filling up and filling up and filling up. And then if you're not doing any kind of clearance, what you'll find is now you need some kind of physio. You'll need some kind of mucus clearance, whether that's Naxis. What's the other name? I've been on Naxis a very long time. Carbacystine, or you're gonna have to do more nebulizers. And when I do slack, what I do, which I'm not recommending for use, but when I do the saline for 10 minutes on its own, it doesn't do anything. When I've really slacked on my regimen, it don't do now. So I actually use 2 salines and nebulize over about 25-minute period. Now, not everyone can tolerate that, so don't suggest doing it. But when you feel like the mucus is there, but you can't bring it up and you're choking, then that's been my alternative method, really. I don't use the flutter. I've tried the flutter, it doesn't work. There's another good thing. They're like black mints, and they're really good for chesty coughs, but they also clear your nose. I've had good results using that. Hot baths, very hot baths. Iamio and Gracia, yeah, very hot baths. They seem to loosen everything up. What I've realised is when I'm inside the bath, I seem to cough more. So anything like a sauna, a steam thing. In the barbers where I go, they use like a steam. So they'll get you sitting back in the chair, and they release this steam in the beard just to make it maybe a bit softer the skin. I don't know. But what I realised is with that water and the steam, I thought this is a great tool that they could introduce into the lung health, a part of, as part of physiotherapy, like a mist, a warm mist. Obviously, you can do it with buckets of, we call it a bacchanella in Italy, which is just a bucket or a bowl with like a tea towel over your head, hot water coming up with something like Vicks. And the Vicks basically acts like what is it? A decongestion. So basically loosens the mucus, and then you'll start coughing into a tissue, things like that. And even foods. Think about foods as well. Pepper, anything that's got a lot of pepper, paprika, ginger. These things, I've heard great things. There's an Italian meal that we make called a brodo. Basically, it's just like a pasta soup. So you get really small pasta. You don't even have to have it with pasta if you don't like it. You could just use it as a soup. And in China, what I found out watching is when they were training the people to go to war, they used to go in freezing cold water just to share what's the word for it? Freezing cold water to stress the system out, and then they'd come out of that regiment, and then they'd have like a soup with boiling hot onion, and like a drink it, just boil the onion and drink it, and they never got colds, flus, things like that. So yeah, a lot of your stuff can come from the food, really. So I put that in a brodo, put a nice onion in the brodo, just let it boil. I don't leave it to eat because I don't like onions, so just let it, basically it'll just unfold. There's loads of skin layers to the skin of the onion. Once it's like that, take it out. What else? Chop a load of tomatoes in, high in vitamins, and just look after your overall health, really, because medicine will take you, it'll take you to somewhere, but it will only come back where you need it again. That's why the doctor's job is to keep prescribing medication, because if it was to keep you well and not come back, they won't have to keep you on a prescription, which is probably monthly thing. With me, it's every 3 months I get the IVs, and every day this is what I have to nebulize every day. Let me just see if it's in my drawer here. So I have to nebulize that twice a day, a gentamicin. So basically, if I stop having antibiotics longer than a week, I get poorly. So I have to have 2 of these vials a day. and then I have to have IV therapy every 3 to 4 months. So it's no joke. So when I hear people start whinging, oh, I can't do it, listen, you ain't been through it. You haven't been through it. You haven't had to keep coming back to know what you've been through. So just keep trying, really. You're never going to be where you was, and you're never going to fully get over bronchiectasis or cystic fibrosis. But what you're going to do is bloody get a grip of this, get a grip of it, and stop whinging. And we're out of there. Take care.